Mr. Right here, and welcome to this paper in which I'll run through the Edexcel IGCSE Foundation paper. That's paper F1 from November 23. You can click on the link in the description and download the paper, and then you can have a go at the paper and then watch the film, or you can work on the paper as you watch the film and work alongside me. Also in the description, you'll find links to different parts of the film in case you only want to watch certain questions. On the channel, you'll find many other resources to help you if you are preparing for your Edexcel IGCSE Foundation exams. If you can't find what you're looking for, leave me a comment and I'll help you out. Right, let's go. Question 1. Here is a list of numbers. From the numbers, write down an even number. Well, there's only one even number there, and that is the number 40. Now, a cube number can be made by taking a number such as 2 and cubing it. So 8 is a cube number. Which of those are cube numbers? Well, the answer is that 27 is a cube number because it's 3 times 3 times 3, 3 cubed. Here are the temperatures in degrees Celsius in Paris at midnight for 1 week. Write down the lowest temperature. The lowest of those temperatures is the temperature -9. That's the lowest number on the list. Find the square root of 441. I can use my calculator for that. Square root of 441, 21. The sum of two prime numbers is always even. Give an example to show he's not correct. Well, the only even prime number is 2. So if I start with that, and then I add another prime number, every other prime number is odd. So let's say I add the number 5. Then 2 plus 5 is 7. Which is not even. So there's an example. You could have had many different examples. It would need to involve 2 and then adding on a different prime number because every other prime number would be odd. Okay, that's question 1 finished. Let's have a look at question 2. Question 2. The bar chart shows information about the number of international students who studied in each of 5 countries. Here are the countries like Australia, Canada, Germany, France, and the number of international students in thousands. Okay, now we've had a look at the graph, let's have a look at the questions. In which of these 5 countries did the greatest number of students study? The greatest number was Canada, wasn't it? They've got the largest bar, Canada. Write down the number of international students who studied in Australia. Now, do you notice how it says something thousand? So we're going to have to read off what that is there. Be careful with the scale. 400, 500. So that's going to be 450,000. So that's going to be 420,000. So the answer is 420,000. The number of international students who studied in Japan was more than the number who studied in Spain. How many more? Well, let's have a look. How many international students studied in Japan? That number there, 210,000. And we'll subtract the number who studied in Spain. That's there, 120,000. So the difference between those is 90,000. In 2019, the number of international students who studied in France was 340,000. Draw a bar chart to show this information. 340,000. So France, 310, 20, 30, 40. So my bar is going to go up to there. And so I'm thinking that that is what my bar is going to look like, going up to 340,000. And that is question 2 done. Let's move on and have a look at question 3. Question 3. Write down the name of the angle marked X. Well, it's not an acute angle. It's not an obtuse angle. It's a reflex angle. P is the point on a circle with center 0. Write down the mathematical name of the line OP. Well, that's the radius of the circle. Here is a polygon. Write down the mathematical name. How many sides? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A pentagon. Here is a solid prism. Write down the number of edges. 1, 2, 3 edges at the front. 1, 2, 3 edges at the back. And 1, 2, 3 more edges. Altogether, 9 edges. Let's move on to question 4. The diagram shows 3 points A, B, and C marked on a grid. Write down the coordinates of point A. 1 along, 6 up. 1, 6. Write down the coordinates of point B. -3 along. Write that a bit more clearly. -3 along and -1. M is the midpoint of AC. On the grid, mark with a cross at the point M. Label the point M. Let's first of all draw the line from A to C. Now let's find the middle of that line. The line is 8 squares long, so the midpoint's going to be here, 4 squares long. So I've marked it with a cross, and I need to label it M. Okay, point D is such that the shape from A to B to C and then to D is a kite. Okay, where's it going to be? Well, I think it's going to be about here. Let's have a look. You see this one is 4 to there, so this one will be 4 to there. So there it is. And there, oops, there you go. Oh, that did work. So that's going to be my point D, isn't it? On the grid, mark with a cross the point D, label the point D. I've done that. How many lines of symmetry has the kite got? It's just got one line of symmetry, which is that line there. You don't have to mark the line, but there it is. So the answer to the question is 1. And that's question 4 done. Let's have a look at question 5. Here's a shape made of squares. Shade 2/3 of the shape. How many squares are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 1/3 the shape would be 4 squares. So I want to shade 8 squares. Right, 3/10 is a percentage. Well, 3 out of 10 is 30 out of 100. So 30%. Right, 48 out of 150 is a fraction in its lowest terms. Well, I'll put that into my calculator and press equals. 8 out of 25. What we've actually done is divide top and bottom by 6. Right, 46 over 7 is a mixed number. Well, again, I'll put it in my calculator and change it to a mixed number. That gives me 6 and 4/7. And that's question 5 done. Question 6. Right. We're going to a restaurant and we have 1,000 dirham to spend. This is what we order: 2 dishes of chicken mahani, 3 dishes of vegetable korma, and some naans at 30 dirhams each. I don't know how many naans. Look. They order as many naans as they can. Right, they pay with 1,000 dirham note. Work out how much change they should receive. Well, let's find out how many naans they could afford, shall we? we know that they're going to order 2 dishes of chicken. So we know that's going to cost them that much. And we know that they're buying 3 vegetable kormas. So we know that's going to cost them that much. So let's work out how much they've spent so far. So far, they've spent 621 dirham. So how many dirham do they have left to spend on their naans? Well, let's do 1,000 minus 621. So you've got 379 dirham left. How many naans can you buy? 379 dirham. Well, 379, how much is a naan? 30. 379 divided by 30. They can buy 12 and a bit naans, so 12 naans, can't they? So they're going to buy 12 naans. They can't buy a bit of a naan. So I wonder how much money they'll have left. Well, the 12 naans, how much will that have cost them? 12 times 30, 360. So the change that I'll get is 379 minus 360, which is 19 dirham change. So how much change should they receive? 19 dirham. Right, we have to simplify 9d times 5c, so that's going to be 45dc, or 45cd would be what we'd normally write, but 45dc would be fine. Simplify, right, I've got 7p's and another minus 9p, so that's minus 2p. And then the n's, I've got plus 5n plus another 3n gives me plus 8n. Work out the value of t when e equals 9 and f equals 5. Well, t is 8 times e minus 6 times f. 8 times e, well, e is 9, minus 6 times f, and f is 5. So 8 times 9 minus 6 times 5 gives me 42. Solve this equation. Right, I'm going to float and bring that minus 6, so 5m equals, becomes a plus 6, 23, and then m is going to be 23 over 5. Now that would be okay for an answer, or you could say 4.6, or you could say 4 and 3/6. Any of those would be okay. Right, that is question 7 done. Okay, question 8. There are 4 teams in a cricket competition. The teams are Australia, England, Pakistan, West Indies. Each team will play each other once. Write down all the matches that will take place. So let's have a look. Australia will play England, Australia will play Pakistan, Australia will play West Indies. England would play Australia, but we've already done that. So England will play Pakistan, England will play West Indies. Pakistan will play, well, it's already done England and Australia, so Pakistan will do West Indies. And then that is all of them because West Indies has played everyone already. Question 9. The diagram shows 2 triangles. Yes, it does, and I can see them there. One of them, look at this, triangle ABE is an isosceles, with that side equaling that side, okay? And then it says AED, well that's this line, is a straight line. Well, it looks like a straight line, doesn't it? And EBC is a straight line, so that's a straight line. They look like a straight line, so that's fine. Angle CDE is 42. Look, there it is. It's marked on the diagram. The reflex angle ECD is 296. There you go. That's marked on the diagram. the angle BAE, that's that one, equals x. That's marked on the diagram. Work out the value of x. Okay. Well, there are lots of different things you can do. If you can't see your way to what you're going to do, just work out what you can, and that will probably help you out. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, well, that angle at C is going to be 360 minus 296. So that angle at C is going to be 64. So that's 64. Aha, look, now I'm thinking this angle, because I've got 64 and 42, and together they have to make 180, don't they? So I'm going to do 180 minus 64 minus 42, which means that that angle there is 74. Now, what angle can I find next? What about this one? Because it's 180 on a straight line, so that angle will be 180 minus 74. So that angle will be 106. Okay. Now, just a minute. Look at this triangle here. You know how that's x. You know how that's also x because it's an isosceles triangle. So to find x, I can do 180 minus 106 and then divide that answer by 2. 180 minus 106 equals, divided by 2 equals x is 37. And that is question 10. Right, this table gives information about the number of rewards gained by each of 50 students. Now, if there are 50 students, then these frequencies here will add up to 50. So I write that there to remind me. And before I do anything else, I'm just going to make sure that I understand the table. Now, this means, what does this mean? This means that 15 people got 2 rewards each. This one person did very well. They got 5 rewards. Now I've sorted out what the table means, I'm going to have a go at the questions. Write down the mode of the number of rewards. Well, the mode is the one that appears the most. So which number of rewards appears the most? Answer 3, because there are 18 people got 3 rewards, which is more than got any other number of rewards. Work out the mean number of rewards. You add and divide for the mean. So I need to add up how many rewards were given in total. Well, here 3 people got 0 rewards, so they got 0 between them. 9 people got 1 reward, so that's a total of 9. 15 people got 2 rewards each, so that's 30. I'm multiplying across, aren't I? 4 people got 4 rewards and 1 person got 5. So how many rewards is that given out in total? I'm just adding up those blue numbers now. So 114 rewards were given out in total. And how many people were they shared between the 50 people? Which gives me a mean number of rewards of 2.28. Let's just check that answer seems reasonable. 2 and a bit rewards on average between each person. That seems reasonable because everybody got between 0 and 5 rewards. One of these students is chosen at random. Find the probability that they gained more than 2 rewards. So that's going to be the people who gained 3 rewards, 4 rewards, or 5 rewards. So it's going to be these people. How many people is that? 18 plus 4 plus 1, that's 23 people out of the 50 people. So the probability would be 23 50ths. And that's number 10 done. Let's have a look at number 11. A rental company had 360 cars and some vans. Okay. The ratio of the number of cars to the number of vans is 3 to 5. Sometimes it's useful to have a total there. So out of every 8 vehicles, 3 of them are cars and 5 of them are vans. Oh, here we go, look. 4/9 of the cars are electric. So this is the cars. 4/9 are electric. 5/9 are not electric. Okay, here we go. 36% of the vans are electric. The company has more electric vans than electric cars. How many more? Well, we better first of all work out how many vehicles they've got altogether. Now, I already know that the ratio of cars to vans is 3 to 5. And I've given some more information in the question that I haven't yet used. It has 360 cars. So 360 cars. Now, what's my ratio being multiplied there by? 360 divided by 3, 120. So 5 times 120, they've got 600 vans, and they've got 960 vehicles altogether, right? Now, let's work out how many of these vehicles are electric, shall we? Let's have a look at the electric. Now, there are some electric vans, aren't there? And there are some electric cars. I'm concentrating on these because the question says the company has more electric vans than electric cars. How many more? So I'm going to work out how many electric vans. I'm going to work out how many electric cars and then find the difference between those. So let's do the electric vans first, shall we? 36% of their vans are electric. So that's going to be 36% of, how many vans do they have? 600. So 0.36 times 600. They've got 216 electric vans. Now what about the electric cars? 4/9 of the cars are electric. How many cars have they got? They've got 360 cars. So 4/9 of 360. So 160 electric cars. Go back to here. The company has more electric vans than electric cars. Yes, it does, because it has this many electric vans and this many electric cars. How many more? 216 minus 160. 56 more. And that is question 11 done. Right, let's look at question 12. On the grid below, draw the graph of y equals 5 minus 3x. Well, you could put that into your calculator and use the table function. I'm going to use the y-intercept of 5 and a gradient of minus 3. So it goes through 5 on the y-axis, and then I go along 1, down 3. But be very careful. Can you see how you've got a different scale on the x than you do on the y? So when I go along 1, I'm actually going to have to go along 2 squares and then down 3 units. Along 1 unit and down 3 units using those different scales. They've made it complicated, haven't they? So here is my line. There it is. On the grid below, draw the graph. I've done it. Number 13. A wheel on a tractor has a diameter of 160 centimeters. Let's draw that wheel. Here's its diameter, 160 centimeters. The tractor travels 1,750 meters. Look out, different units. Work out the number of complete turns made by the wheel. Well, let's work out how far the wheel would go in one turn. In one turn, well, I'm going to need to know the circumference of the wheel. C equals pi d. So the circumference of the wheel is pi times 160. That's going to be in centimeters, of course. 160 times pi equals 502.654. Well, that's going to be enough decimal places. Now that's how far it goes with one revolution, one complete turn in centimeters. Let's change this to meters. 5.02654. It goes that many meters with one revolution. And we want to know how many complete turns will it make if it's going this number of meters. So I'm going to do 1,750 divided by 5.02654. See what I get. 1750 divided by 5.02654. And I get 348 and a bit. So how many complete turns? 348. Let's have a look at number 14. Now I'm going to find this one tricky because I can't measure the lengths and the angles. So let me show you how to do it. 14, here is an accurate scale drawing. Fine. Find by measuring the bearing of the hotel of that from the museum. So you're going to need to measure that angle there. And when you give your answer, give it in 3 digits. So if that angle was 15, then your answer would be 015 for the bearing. But I don't know what that angle is. Right. Work out the real distance between the hotel and the museum. So you're going to have to measure this line, get that distance, and multiply it by 4.5. And that's going to be your answer. Okay, that's question 14 done. Question 15. Here is a Venn diagram. List the members of set A. Well, that's everything, or every member who appears in set A. So it's going to be all of those. So 7, 9, 11, 13, 5, and 15. Okay. A intersection B, A and B. That's going to be 5 and 15. Now, what's going on here? In the bracket, we've got A union B. So those are the ones that appear in A or B. So that's those ones. But we're asked for everything but those, for not those. So it's going to be these numbers here, 6, 8, 12, 14, and 16. And that's question 15 done. Question 16. Factorize fully. Now, what can we pull out of here? What's the highest common factor? We're going to have 6p. Going to leave me with 2q minus 3. There are 56 metal bars in a box. Each metal bar is gold or silver or zinc. Y are gold, 3y plus 7 are silver, 2y minus 5 are zinc. Work out the number of metal bars that are zinc. I'm going to use this piece of information because I know that in total there are 56. So I know that that plus that must be 56. So y plus 3y plus 7 plus 2y minus 5 must equal 56. And there's an equation that I can solve to find y. I've got 6y plus 2 equals 56. 6y equals 54. Divide by 6. Y equals 9. Now let's look at the question. Work out the number of metal bars that are zinc. Well, how many were zinc? 2y minus 5 was zinc. So that's going to be 2 times 9 minus 5. 18 minus 5, 13 of the bars were zinc. And that's question 16 done. Question 17. Joshua buys a car for $12,500 and he sells the car to Nina. Okay. Nina pays a deposit of $1,500 and then 36 450s. Work out Joshua's percentage profit. Well, let's work out how much Nina paid for the car. Nina pays $15,000 to start with, plus 36 times 450. So I wonder how much that's going to be in total. 1,500 plus 36 times 450. So she pays 17,700. Now, what about Joshua's percentage profit? Well, how much profit has he made? We're going to put the profit over the original and times by 100. So this is how much profit he's made. 5,200. So the percentage profit is the profit over the original times by 100. Let's have a look, see what that is. Times by 100. 41.6% profit. And that's question 17 done. Question 18. A bias spinner has 3 sections, each of a different colour. Okay, the table shows the probability that when the spinner is spun once, it'll land on blue, or on orange, or on white. Work out the value of x. Oh, wait a minute. That plus that plus that has to equal 1, doesn't it? So 0.58 plus 2x and x is 3x. Has to equal 1. So 3x has to be 1 minus 0.58. 3x has to be 0.42. So divide by 3. X has to be 0.14. Find the value of x. I've done it. So that means, by the way, that white is 0.14 and orange is 0.28. I wonder if that'll be useful in a minute. The spinner is spun 250 times. Work out an estimate for the number of times the spinner will land on blue. Well, the probability of landing on blue is 0.58, and we're spinning it 250 times. 0.58 times 250, 145 times. That's how many times we estimate it'll land on blue. There's question 19. Question 19. The diagram shows a shaded shape made from 3 identical semicircles, x, y, and z. There they are. A, B, C, D, E is a straight line. It looks straight, doesn't it? AC, that line, is the diameter of that first semicircle, x, and B is its center, and so on for the others. Okay. AC, that's that line, it's the same. Oh, they've all got the same diameter, haven't they? That's a diameter, and that's 20. Okay. Work out the perimeter of the shaded shape. So the perimeter of the shaded shape is going to look like this, isn't it? Let's say I'll start here. I've got half a circumference, another half a circumference. I've got a radius, another half a circumference, and a radius. Okay, well, let's work out the circumference, first of all. The circumference of the whole circle. It's got a diameter of 20, so C equals pi d. C equals pi times 20. I'm going to work that out. I think 20 times pi equals 62.831 and so on. So half a circumference, which is that bit there, isn't it? Divide that by 2, and I get 31.4159 and so on. So let's work out this then. So that's going to be a 31.4159. That's another 31.419. So that's 2 of those so far. 31.4159 plus 31.4159. Now what's going to happen next? I've got a radius there. So that's going to be a plus 10. Then I've got another half circumference and another radius. So I'm going to have plus another 31.4159 plus another 10. And that's going to be the whole perimeter. And that gives me an answer on my calculator of 114.24 and so on to the nearest whole number 114 centimetres. And that's my question 19. Question 20. Now we're flying from Madrid to Berlin. Two different types of ticket. Ticket A and ticket B. I'm thinking I'm going to split my page in half here. Ticket A and ticket B. Right. Ticket A, 1/6 off the normal price. Ticket B, 20% off the normal price. The sale price of ticket A is 140 euros. Oh, that's interesting. So ticket A has 1/6 off, doesn't it? And then the sale price is 140 euros. Okay, now ticket B. 20% off the normal ticket price. So that's going to be a reverse percentage, I think. When you take 20% off, you have the sale price of 136. Okay. Work out the difference between the normal price of ticket A and the normal price of ticket B. So the normal price, well, of ticket A, in the sale it's 140. And in the sale, that's after it's had 1/6 knocked off. So 140 must be 5/6 of the real price. So I'm going to divide 140 by 5 to get 1/6 of the price. That's 28. So the whole price is 28 times 6. So the normal price is 168. Okay, now let's have a look at ticket B. We've reduced by 20% and we've got 136. So the multiplier there would be 0.8, wouldn't it? Or 0.80. So I'm going to do 136 divided by 0.8 to go back in time. You divide. Gives me a normal price of 170. Now I know the normal price of ticket A and the normal price of ticket B. And the question was, work out the difference between those. So the difference is going to be 170 minus 168. The difference between those normal prices is 2. Question 21. I've got A in terms of prime factors, B in terms of prime factors. I'm asked to find the highest common factor. Give your answer as product of primes. I'm going to draw a Venn diagram here. I'm going to have A in here and B in here. The factors of A and the factors of B. Now what shall I put in them both? They've 5 to the 3, 5 to the 6. Right, so I can put 5, 5 and 5 there. 3 more 5s here. That's the 5 step. Right, 7 to the 3 and 7 to the 2. Right, 7 and 7 and 7 there. 11 to the 6, 11 to the 4. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 11 and 11. That's the Venn diagram filled in. Once we find the highest common factor, so that's going to be the intersection, isn't it? 5 times 5 times 5 times 7 times 7 times 11 times 11 times 11 times 11. Give your answer as a product of powers of its prime factors. 5 to the 3 times 7 squared times 11 to the 4. That's question 21. Question 22. Solve the inequality. 8x minus 4 is greater than or equal to 3x minus 10. Let's subtract 3x from both sides, shall we? Because that's the side with the fewest x. 5x minus 4 is greater than or equal to minus 10. Let's add 4 to both sides. 5x is greater than or equal to minus 6. I'm just going to write that up here. 5x is greater than or equal to minus 6. And now I'm going to divide by 5. So x is greater than or equal to minus 6 over 5. So that would be okay. You could write, that's going to be my answer. You could write x is greater than or equal to minus 1 1/5 if you wanted to, or x is greater than or equal to minus 1.2. Let's look at this question. The region R, shown shaded in the diagram, is bounded by 3 straight lines. Write down the 3 inequalities. Well, let's have a look at this line first, shall we? That's the line y equals 2, because it cuts the y-axis at 2. And we want to be above there. So y would have to be greater than or equal to 2. Greater than or equal to, because it's a solid line. By the way, generally, the mark scheme still allows you all the marks if you just write y is greater than 2. Let's look at this green line. That's the line x equals 7, because it crosses the x-axis at 7. We want to go that side of it, so x will be less than or equal to 7. And finally, let's look at this line. Now, what's the equation of that line? It's the line that goes through 9, 9, 8, 8, 7, 7. It's the line y equals x. We want to go beneath it, so we're going to say y is less than. Try again. Y is less than or equal to x. And there is question 22. Question 23. Write down this as an ordinary number. So I'm going to move the decimal point 4 places. One hop gets it over the 5, so I'll need 3 more zeros there. Write this number in standard form, 8.4 times 10 to the 7. The number of neurons in a human brain is this. The number of neurons in a monkey brain is that. Okay? There are more in a human brain, aren't there? Look at this. The number of neurons in a human brain is how many times the number of neurons in a monkey brain? Work out the value of k. So I'm going to have to do the number of neurons in a human brain, divided by the number of neurons in a monkey brain to work out how many times more neurons there are in a human brain. Now the first thing I'm going to try is put that as a fraction in my calculator. 8.5 times 10 to the power of 10. On the top of the fraction, 1.47 times 10 to the power of 9. On the bottom, press equals and see if it works. And it has worked. And it gives me the answer 57.82 and so on. So to one decimal place, 57.8. There are 57.8 times as many neurons in the human brain as there are in a monkey brain. Question 24. Here is a triangle ABC. Now, before I do anything else, I'm kind of looking at that and I'm thinking there's a right angle triangle here. There's a right angle triangle here. I'm thinking SOHCAHTOA. I'm thinking Pythagoras. I'm thinking the area of a triangle. Let's have a look. Work out the value of x. Oh, I need to work out that angle there. Give your answer correct to one decimal place. Show you're working clearly. Right, well, this triangle here, the one that goes from there to there to there, that's the right angle triangle x in it, isn't it? I've got the 8. I need another side. So then I could use SOHCAHTOA. I wonder if I could find that side. Oh, I'll tell you what. Look at the triangle on the left. Look at this triangle. I'm thinking that's a right angle, that's 40, that's 8. I'm thinking I could find this length, I'll call it y, and then I could take that length off the 22, and then I'd know what this length is here. So let's try that first, shall we? Now, And cozy around the right angle here, it's going to be a tan, toa, and I'm finding the adjacent. So y is going to be the opposite divided by tan 40, right? 8 divided by tan 40 equals 9.534, and so on. So now I know what this length is here along the bottom of that triangle. It's going to be 22 minus 9.534, and so on. So that is 12.45, sorry, 465, and so on. Now let's draw that right-hand triangle. It looks like this. Along here, go along here, 90, that's 8, and now I know that that one is 12.465. I'm being asked to find angle x. Oh look, it's tan again, isn't it? Tan of x is the opposite over the adjacent. Tan x equals 8 divided by 12.465, and so on. So on my calculator, 8 divided by 12.465 and so on equals, shift tan equals, gives me 32. Now how many decimal places do you want? One decimal place, 32.7. And that is my answer to question 24. Well done for making your way through that paper. I hope you did okay. Leave me a comment. Tell me how you got on. If you found the film useful, hit like. Tell me so in the comments. And if you've got any questions, then please do leave them in the comments. And of course, I'll respond. Thanks for watching. See you in the next film.